This is the Para Cave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, and co-sponsors Bo Cook from Loan Market, Scott from Brightside Detailing and Ceramics, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, the official clothing partner of the Para Cave Podcast, and the official media partner of the Para Cave Podcast, the Parramatta Times. Hello listeners, welcome back to the Para Cave Podcast. I'll be your host, Troy Warner, and this is the NRL Round 5 review that I did with the Duckman on 89.9 FM, Pulse FM, on his weekend sports wrap show, which you can catch the review show is on Sunday nights, just after 7 o'clock news, and also you can also catch the NRL Round preview, which I record with Duckman on a Friday night as well, so just after 7 p.m, just after the news as well. So a couple of games one game has gone and one has been half time by the time we get on air, but nevertheless it is my preview of the round, so you can catch that one on a Saturday, and also the review round on a Wednesday as well. And also my Talking Para podcast chats, my excerpts from that chat will be available on a Thursday as well. So I hope you're really enjoying all this extra content that I'm bringing your way. Don't forget, out now is the episode 141 with Anthony Bomber Breeze. A great little chat there with a Parramatta Eels tragic like myself. So don't forget to check that one out. And the Legends or Fans interviews will be brought out on a Monday. So don't forget, if you haven't already, check that one out as well. Some great stories in that one. But now I'll just hand it over to the Duckman.
All right, we have a special guest now on, Troy Warner from the Para Cave Podcast. Troy, how are you going?
I'm going fantastic, Duckman. A really interesting and amazing day of sport. I had the split screen on the TV with the Sharks and Warriors game, and also had the Australian Grand Prix on as well. So both of those amazing, one an amazing game and one an amazing race. So going pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Oscar Piastri finished 7th in the Grand Prix, didn't he, after qualifying 16th? So that's a good result for him to get into the points for the first time this season.
Yeah, I think he ended up finishing 9th, I think. But, still in the points. His first Australian Grand Prix. He grew up only just living around the corner from the racetrack. So a great result there for Oscar and McLaren as well. I think they had 2 cars inside the top 10, so it was great to see.
Yeah, Lando Norris as well. Yep.
Yeah, great to see. So,
yeah. He's only 21 years old as well. It's unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, massive future in front of him.
Yeah, so he must be struggling too on $24.5 million US with his contract. So I don't know. I'd be hitting him up for some sort of subsidy or something like that.
Yeah, have to ask him for a loan or something.
Yeah, that's right. So surely that he's getting them to pay his fuel bills and all that stuff too. So, all right, let's go to the NRL now. So back on Thursday night, we know that the Roosters got up over the Eels there 28-20. Have you digested that and a bit more and had a look at that, or is any more come out of that game you're aware of over the weekend?
Yeah, not really. Not since the last time we spoke on Friday night. I think Parramatta just made a few costly errors and a few decisions that I think they probably would like to have again, in terms of trying to get 6 again restarts by doing different kicks and the like. A few errors crept into their game. Obviously, they were down 2 men in the first half for 10-minute stints. So they only had played 60 minutes with 13 men on the field, so that was always going to be tough. although they did do well during that 20-minute period by holding out the Roosters, they had a lot of scoring opportunities, but they didn't really score too much when they were in the bin. So looks like James Tedesco will be sitting out this weekend's game due to the high shot from Bailey Simonson, who is facing 2 weeks at the judiciary if he takes the early guilty plea, or the 3 weeks if he fights it. But as we said on Friday night, I think he will take the 2 weeks and we'll see a new Parramatta winger.
Yeah, I'd just be taking the 2 weeks myself. So someone told me it's 5 weeks. So I think they need to have a rethink about what they're talking about. I said that's not what I saw. So it's definitely not worth 5 weeks. Canberra took on Panthers, and it was 13-12 13-6 when we were chatting the other day at half time, and I went, oh, this might be pretty close, this game. Didn't end up like that. 53 points to 12 the Panthers got up.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, we were talking on air on Friday, and it was 13-6 at half time, and we thought, okay, this could be a little bit of a game here. Canberra really holding it towards the Panthers, but geez, didn't the Panthers just blow it away in the second half? Absolutely amazing. They just took the game by the scruff of the neck, and it looked like they were scoring tries at will. 43, 49, 52, 60. 71st minute, Tyrone Peachey got his try, Stephen Crichton 74th, and then Jamin Salmon got a try in the 79th minute, and it was the first time they'd played Canberra since last year's infamous Ricky Stewart quote in the media. I won't go too much into that one, but Jamin got up saying what Ricky said, so maybe, and Coach Ivan Cleary said a little bit of karma there, so interesting there. But the Panthers, they march on. It's probably the biggest score this year that any team has scored.
Yeah, it's right. I think Jamin Salmon's got to be careful what he does too. So, because he still could end up at some time with Ricky Stewart as your coach somewhere, or someone else involved with it, and it just looks dumb. So, right, I get the whole point. You're upset about it and all that. Yeah, you let your emotions get to the better of it. You don't want to go down that avenue, because that avenue can get contracts terminated and stuff, as we're saying with the NRL now. So you really want to have a high bar mark where you set yourself. On the other side of that, but I saw Stephen Crichton's try that he got 74th minute. He put the kick in and then chased it down, ran around the outside of the field to go around the winger or whoever he put the kick in from, and beat about 5 people to it, including his own teammates, and got it. So I didn't think he'd get there, then he did. It was an unbelievable try, really.
Yeah, it was. Certainly was. It just shows you that they never give up, and they all want to score tries, and a bit like the Taruva try in the first half, where it went through many sets of hands. It was the last tackle, and just never give up and got the offloads happening, and then he ends up scoring the try by putting a kick through by himself. Just back on Jamin Salmon there for a second. I think you're probably right there. That was last year, and you would have maybe thought it was dead and buried, and you probably don't want to bring it up again. But I mean, you can also see the other side of it as well. The emotion and the adrenaline's pumping at that time, and it's in Canberra, and that came into Jamin's head. So yeah, it could go either both ways. But we saw last year Ricky Stewart get fined by the NRL for his comments in a press conference. Nobody heard what Jamin said. They only lip read what he said, and we all know what he said. But yeah, probably, I don't know. If I was in that situation, who knows what I would have done. But yeah, you probably would have liked that to have been dead and buried, I'd say.
Yeah, I would have left it on the field. So you have to actually move past those things, or I bog you down. So it'll start to affect Jaden Salmon as well, which is not good overall. The other game on Friday night, so this surprised me a little bit. So Souths went down to the Storm, 18 points to 10. I thought they might have got up, and I thought they probably would have had a lot to play for there. So did Melbourne too, actually. But yeah, I actually thought Souths would have beaten them.
Yeah, look, the Storm are South Sydney's bogey side. I think this was the 32nd win by the Storm in 38 games over the Rabbitohs. So they certainly have a hold on them, the Melbourne Storm. So, but going into the game, you thought maybe the Rabbitohs might have a good chance of winning this game. It was 12-6 at half time. You thought it's still anybody's game, but the Storm, they grinded the game away and just got that win. Cameron Munster scored the try in the 43rd minute, so just after half time, to get to that 18 points. And then you thought, okay, they might be a bit comfortable here. They let South back into the game with a little bit of a sniff, with Campbell Graham scoring a try, but they couldn't come back. You may think that potentially it was a lot of emotion and also physical game last week against Manly. Could have taken its toll, but maybe it's just this stranglehold that the Storm have over the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, well, it is. They get psychological things. I remember when Penrith were like that for years with the Sharks. They used to go down there and lose time and time again, and it didn't matter whether they were coming into comp, it was like that. And there's plenty of examples of that in the NRL. I think Penrith have done it to the Roosters for years too. Even when they were struggling, they were able to pull it out against the Roosters. So, yeah, there's clubs that got hoodoos over other clubs. So the next game, I can tell you, it left me feeling a little bit empty. Manly and the Knights, 32-all. So I actually thought that Manly would win. The Knights were getting in, and I thought that they would win. And when it ended up a draw, I just went, well, now I feel really disappointed. It's kind of like kissing your cousin or something like that. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, what a game! I didn't actually catch much of this. I just caught the highlights of this game. But a 32-all draw. Obviously, we don't have draws in rugby league. Usually, it's a golden point game, and then somebody kicks a field goal. But this one wasn't. It was 32-all draw. But Dominic Young, who got dropped, I think, from the Newcastle side's come back, and he scored 4 tries. So that's absolutely unbelievable. And one thing I did see that was very unusual, and I've never seen it before, was Hamoli Olakawatu, his try, and Lockie Miller was just, he got his lines mixed up and he was behind the goal line, and Olakawatu just put the ball down. It just looked really weird. I've never seen anything like that before. So yeah, another strange and interesting game of rugby league, and yeah, a draw was probably a fitting result.
Yeah, when I was listening to it, I genuinely thought that Manly were going to win, and then Newcastle just kept storming back. I went, oh, here we go, the Knights are actually going to win it. And when it ended up, it was exciting, but it's just a flat end to the game. Like, really deserved the win of that one. So both sides would be just like, oh, we could have taken that. 100% for sure they'd be feeling like that after that game.
Yeah, well, there was 2 shots at field goal by Manly. There was a 1 point and a 2 point, and there was 4 shots from Newcastle, 2 1 points and 2 2 point field goal attempts. So they certainly were trying to win the game, definitely, but it wasn't to be. And for the Johns family, it was pretty special, I guess, because you had Jack Johns playing up against Cooper, and nobody won, so that was a quite interesting thing there.
Yeah, so I suppose getting the take out of that game, Newcastle would be happier with that than Manly, because Newcastle, they really have stepped it up a bit this year. I thought Adam O'Brien might be the first coach to get the flick, to be honest with you. So he's proven his doubters wrong, and he's kicking on. So they're coming away with better results than what I thought they might.
Yeah, and they just had Tyson Gamble as well fail, I think, his HIA as well. So Tyson is replacing Kalen Ponga in the halves. So news today of Kalen, it's looking like he's back from Canada from his testing over there, and he is possibly looking at maybe 2 to 3 weeks in his comeback in season 2023. So Won't be too much longer before we see Kalen.
Yeah, there we go. That would be very good. They'll be hanging out to get him back on deck for sure. The next game surprised me too. I did say on Friday night I thought it could happen. I didn't think it would, but it did. So St George Illawarra beat the Dolphins 38-12. So absolutely surprised by the score. So and the Dolphins, you can just see them missing Sean O'Sullivan now. So he makes a big difference to the whole side there.
Yeah, and another loss for the Dolphins as well. Anthony Milford has apparently done a hamstring as well, so he'll be out for an extended period as well. So really testing the depth of the Dolphins now with a few suspension to Felice Kafusi. Jeremy Marshall-King was back yesterday, but now they've lost O'Sullivan and also Anthony Milford, so it more than likely we'll see Cody Nikorima come back next week into that halfback role for the Dolphins, but certainly some hard times ahead for the Dolphins. As for the Dragons, well, they'll back down in Wollongong. I think they probably like playing down there in Wollongong, and they really played some good footy, scored some great tries, threw it around, and got the result. And isn't it great to see Blake Laurie scoring tries? I think he's the St George's leading leading try scorer for the season. It took him, I think, 90-odd games to get his first try in the NRL, and this season he's already scored 2 in 5 games. So unbelievable for that. 2 in 4 games because they had the bye the first round. So it's a try-scoring machine.
Yeah, so he's a decent player, so pretty happy how he's going for sure as well there. He'll be happy with his form too. And that's good for St George Illawarra because they really need that. So they've people paying them to come last. I thought that's a bit of a rough call. Next side, I think they're going to come last, but now just looking at what's happened already, the Broncos hosted West Tigers and smoked them 46-12. So it was as bad as I thought. And West Tigers have got now an equal record they won't be very happy about. So the most consecutive losses, 5 in a row for the start of a season, and equal with the Jets for the first time since 1968. So that is not a good record to be holding at the moment. And unfortunately for the Tigers, let's have a look at their next couple of games. So next week they've got Parramatta, so that doesn't get easier. So they'll be hoping they can get something here out of one of these sides. And then the week after that, well, they will get 2 points because they've got themselves a bye. So then even, let's have a look, round 8, before we chat about this game, then they've got Manly. So the best chance really is probably next week or even round 8. Like it doesn't get easier for them anytime in a hurry.
Well, I can tell you now, being a Parramatta supporter, and the Tigers not having a win yet this season, it's very worrying times going into a game like that on Easter Monday at the Core Stadium. So you don't want to be the first team to lose to the Tigers this year. So it's a worrying point there. But I think in the press conference, I think maybe Tim Sheens even said that they might struggle against the bye as well. So just have to wait and see with that one. I think he said something like that. Why you would say that, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to crack a joke or whatever. But look, it's worrying times at the Tigers. They are struggling this season. They struggled last season as well, obviously, but hopefully they don't turn it around this year, this week against the Eels. As for the Broncos, they're continuing their great form, 5 from 5, and they're leading the competition and putting on big scores as well. We didn't see the big scores in the first couple of rounds of the NRL, but just lately, in the last couple, we've seen some pretty big scores, and Brisbane have scored a couple of those big scores. Adam Reynolds, again, just leading the team around, and Payne Haas as well, leading the team from the front row, and they're just enjoying their football up there in Brisbane, and the results are showing on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Payne Haas dominated the game, so New South Wales Freddie's happy because it looks really good with all the pre-Origin form heading up to the Origin series. So he's pretty much penciled himself in at the moment. He's just got to keep continuing on that form. The next game, Sharkies against the Warriors. This was an odd one today too. This is going like a seesaw for a little while. And I thought the Sharks in the end would seal the game when they're up 26 points to 12, but the Warriors ended up getting up 32-30.
Yeah, well, this is, as I said before, this was one of the things on the split TV screen. So I had this going on and the Australian Grand Prix. But yeah, what a game! Started off in fine conditions, ended up in rainy conditions. But you thought maybe 26-12 at half time. You thought, okay, well, the Sharks probably went into the game as favourites and they were dominating the game. But then just this second half was crazy. Late in the first half, Murata Niokore got sin binned for a hip drop tackle, which potentially could have been a little bit of a controversial call, I thought. I think he was trying to tackle Sifa Talakai, and Talakai was trying to push out of the tackle, so I don't know how you're going to pull him down, but he got sin bin for a hip drop, and unfortunately, but the ending was amazing. The Warriors got back to 30 all. There was a penalty to Sean Johnson penalty for the Warriors in the 79th minute, and Sean Johnson steps up against his former club, I think about 42 metres out, and with the bruise behind him, and lands the goal, and then off the kickoff, the Sharkies, they get a penalty. It was about 32 metres out, but it was right near the sideline into the bruise, and Nico Hines had a chance to even the game up and take it into Golden Point, but unfortunately missed the game, and missed the goal, and the Sharks lost the game. But yeah, it's just a totally different Warriors side this year. That, I mean, I've said it about Parramatta a few years ago, but same as the Warriors a few years ago, they probably maybe would have given up, or not given up, but just probably wouldn't have come back like that and try and get the win. But they're really showing this year that they're playing some good footy and getting some good wins.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, the three coaches have been able to do some magic stuff with the Warriors. The first one was Daniel Anderson, then Ivan Cleary, and now Andrew Webster. So they've really turned them around. So he's done like a magic job with them, really. Like, I'm surprised that they're getting the results they're getting. And to be honest with you, he's like a way lesser known coach than other guys, and he's just working with what he's got. And he's got them humming. They're going along nicely. They're playing good football. And Sean Johnson knows what his role is with the club, so he knows he's coming to the end of his time. And he's just getting the best out of everyone on the field.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Andrew Webster is taking some of the stuff that he learned at Penrith under Ivan Cleary over to the Warriors this year, and it's his first head coach appointment. So, and yeah, they're just believing in themselves that they can actually win the games. Even if they're down, they think that they can come back. And I think Sean Johnson said after the game in an interview, they said at half time, look, let's just go out and play footy and see what happens. And if it comes off, it comes off. So, yeah, they're both home and away. They're playing some good footy. So they're right up there in the top of the table with the Broncos.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last game of the weekend, so this was a tight one. We said it was going to be tight to start off with. It's early in the second half, and the Bulldogs are hosting the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are up 8 points to 6, so 45 minutes in.
Yeah, hard conditions at a core stadium. There's been raining all day, so it's a little bit wet out there at the moment. So it's a very tough game, tough conditions, and the Cowboys got the first try of the game through a try to Tom Dearden, and then Jacob Preston got a try for the Bulldogs, and there was 8-6 at half time. So there's been no change to the score, and this could go either way.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like it how the games have been like that this year. There has only been a couple of blowouts, like we said. and it's making it more exciting and interesting. So because it can go anyone's way. There's more clubs in the race this year. It's good. Panthers aren't right. Like I'm a Panthers fan, but they're not sitting right up the top. We'll have a look at the table right now. I think it's right, but it's telling me St George Illawarra's only played 2 games. So that's 100% not wrong. But if the table here, this is from the NRL, so that's why I can't get why it's not right. Broncos are on top, saying that the Dolphins are second, but they've played no games. So what's wrong with that table?
Yeah, as it stands, we've got the Broncos on top, 5 from 5, and then the Warriors, Roosters, Sea Eagles, Panthers, Storm, Dolphins, and Dragons round out the 8. So
there you go.
That's how we stand at the moment, and the Tigers are down the bottom without a win.
Yeah. So the Tigers, they're just going to have a hard week. So like next week, like I said, they got. Let's have a look at next week's games quickly. So you got the Storm, that's on Thursday night. So that'll be a big game there. Storm against the Roosters. I would be thinking probably looking at Storm to probably get the Chockies there at home. So although the Roosters, they look pretty good at the moment when they're playing. Got the Bulldogs on Good Friday up against South Sydney. So, well, that's a toss of a coin, that one as well. Hard to say. I think if the Bulldogs can get the win here, they might get the win there as well against Souths. North Queensland hosting the Dolphins, so I think the Cowboys might get lucky here and get a win. So because the Dolphins just look like they're a bit out of touch at the moment. Panthers against Manly. Hopefully the Panthers can get a win against Manly. I'd say the Broncos are nearly certain is to get a win against Canberra because they're out of touch at the moment too. Gold Coast come back against St George Illawarra. So that'll be good to see that one. I think that might be one of the best games in the round, honestly, where it could go either way because St George Illawarra are getting the business done and Gold Coast have been good when they've been playing. The Knights against the Warriors should be able to beat the Knights there, hopefully. And West Tigers, I know you're concerned about West Tigers taking on Parramatta, but I think Parramatta are a bit of a shoo-in for that one. West Tigers, the fans are upset because they're not happy. Benji Marshall, who else is supposed to be taking over? Robbie Farah from Tim Sheens at the end of the year. So they're going to have an inexperienced coaching team with some experienced guys there, but it's not helping them at the moment because they're assistants right now. So they've got a few problems. I'm not sure how Josh Bateman's playing, what he's doing, if he's going well or not well or whatever, but something is badly wrong there at the Tigers.
Yeah, it's hard to say. A lot of people say it's off-field dramas. A lot of fans want the board to go, the CEO to go. So, yeah, it's hard to put your finger on it. They do have a lot of new players at the club. Isaiah Papali'i, Api Coruscant, David Clemmer, just to name a few. John Bateman as well. They just they're not happy with Justin, whatever his name is, Pascoe, the general manager or CEO, whatever his role is. So they think he's absolutely butchered things since he's come along. So, there could be some fuel to the fire with that one because when he was at Penrith, I did tell him what I thought of him a couple of times, and he said, I don't care, I'm a professional sports administrator. Are you? That's the question I'll leave him with. So, are you really? So, you're not doing the best job at Tigers at the moment. And he's the guy that signs all the contracts. So, they need something else going on. Yeah, certainly pretty interesting out there at Campbelltown or Concord or wherever they're based. But there's certainly some big games next week, being Easter week. Storm and Roosters. The Roosters will be without James Tedesco. As you said, the Good Friday clash, Bulldogs and Rabbitohs. Big game there. They always the traditional game on Good Friday. And as we just mentioned, the Knights and Warriors as well. That could be a great game. The Knights took it to Manly, and the Warriors beat the Sharks. So up there in Newcastle. So just a quick shout out to Sam Bacco, former Canberra Raiders and Brisbane Broncos, Queensland and Australian representative. It came out in the news today. Apparently, he suffered a heart attack and is possibly in a critical condition. So our thoughts are with Sam and his family as well during this difficult time.
Yeah, that's not good to hear. So he was a big superstar of Queensland side, Australia as well. Played with Canberra in the 87 grand final when they lost to Manly. Played when they beat Balmain in 89 and 1990 as well when they beat Penrith too. So, wish all the best for Sam. So had the curly hair. He actually looked like the Viking for a while there in Canberra. So I do remember that. He used to tape his hair back. Tough forward there, Sam. So, what have you got on Paracade Podcast? What have you got coming up tomorrow, Troy?
Tomorrow it's episode 141 and going to the Fans and Members series once again. Last week we had Russell Manser on, big Penrith fan of rugby league. This week we're going to a good mate of mine, Anthony Bomber Breeze. He's a massive Parramatta Eels fan. Lives up in Queensland. He's from New South Wales. Lives up in Queensland now. He's also a co-host of his radio show as well with Shaz on all things sport with Bomber and Shaz, and also has a lot to do with junior rugby league in Queensland as well. Ipswich, in particularly the Ipswich area. So he has a lot to do there, both commentating and also getting involved in with the teams as well. So it's an interesting chat about his support of the Eels, your favourite players, coaches, moments, memorabilia, and also a little interesting story about, I think it was the 1990 Kangaroo Tour he went on. So very interesting story there. Available tomorrow on Apple and Spotify from 6 a.m.
Yeah, that'll be good to hear. I want to hear some of them kangaroo stories because I've heard a few stories from people anecdotally in the past and old players telling me things on the side. Don't put this out there, Duckman, but I'm going to tell you what happened. Okay, I want to hear them ones. They're the good ones to tell. So, and then they tell you stories just like, yes, okay, so that's burned into my memory now. 100%. That'll be a funny story. I'll look forward to hearing that one. Absolutely. Troy, thanks for your time again tonight. And we can do a pre-record if you want for Good Friday, or maybe we'll do it on air, depending on how time and everything looks and availability for next week.
No worries. I'm sure we'll work something out for sure and look forward to it. And thanks for having me on it once again. Yeah,
absolutely. No worries. And let's hope this game stays close. 51 minutes in, 8-6 still to the Cowboys over the Bulldogs there. So I will chat to you again for a week. Have a fabulous week, Troy.
Okay, you too, Duckman. Thanks, mate.
See you later, mate.
Bye.